Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey, chapter 360. It is the first day of the week, aka the Kamehameha workout. I'm feeling very good right now. But anyways, to the main subject matter for today. Good and Evil Part 4. Empathetic Hypocrisy. So, the main reason why I wanted to discuss this was because of certain political events that happened recently. And the fact that this is a troubling sign for a lot of people, I guess, is the best way to describe it. I think that this series that I've been doing on good and evil has been really good, especially the last episode right here about ugliness being manifestation upon somebody's soul that you can see on the outside as well as their inside. It comes out like that, which is perfect timing for this because I was going to make an episode about just ugly people, but I think that really kind of covers it. But I think that the entire idea of a hypocrisy that is prevalent amongst people when it comes to good and evil is very interesting because they are unable to console the two things, which makes it so that they are actually probably firmly on the evil side, but want to believe that they are on the good side for some reason or another. And it is a very interesting idea to have to look at because then you have to wonder, what are you doing? Because you're not doing it in the good or evil way. You're just being evil, and it's simple as that. And I think that a lot of people are waking up to this realization that people are just evil, and that's it. There is no good in them, and that's the issue. And I think we need to start chastising and getting these people out from society. There is no uniting them. There is no trying to convince them. There is none of that because they have gone so far into the deep end of evil, they don't even know they're in the ice. That's probably why they don't understand that they're in hell, because they're probably in the last rung, aka the worst of all betrayers. They're in ice. They think they're fine because it's not hot. They've always been told hell is hot, but all of a sudden they're surrounded by cool and they're like, oh, I must be in the right place. But in reality, you're right next to the bad man himself. So there's a whole lot there. And the main reason I wanted to discuss this is because, like I said, recent events, lots of stuff happening nowadays, and it is quite sickening to the point now where I'm not necessarily one to talk too political about things, but at the same time, when it comes to good and evil, you can really truly see good and evil truly playing out on the world stage at this current moment. It is interesting and it's fascinating to see it happen in real time, and I'll say that. But before we get downstairs, I'll say this. To see the hypocrisy at hand with the blindness that these people come into is quite literally astonishing. It baffles the mind of the regular person, and I think more people are starting to see that. I think that as time progresses, we will realize that these people are and should be ostracized from society for a lot of different reasons, and their time is truly up. With that being said, I will see you at Mother Base.
All right, so started this day off with dips, which are pretty good. But anyways, back to the main subject matter at hand here. Good and Evil Part 5. I get it wrong a few times in this video, so I apologize for that. But Good and Evil Part 5, Empathetic Hypocrisy. So the main reason why I wanted to discuss this is because there have been many events that have been going on and around the world that basically prove that there is some level of, I guess, cognitive dissonance that happens in the minds of certain people when it comes to good and evil, as for some reason they cannot fathom that they have any evil within them, that they are 100% pure and good. And I think that a lot of people get misled by that, by movies and TV shows and all these things that where they see altruistic people and all of a sudden they are all good, not realizing that no matter how good you are, all good, there is still some evil within you. And some people can misinterpret what they think is good as in reality an evil, but they don't want to realize that, because then that means they have to come face to face with their morality, and that's a little bit of a different story. But in this case, it seems as though that thought where they think they are on the good side of things, but they don't realize what they're doing is an evil act, is the empathetic hypocrisy that I'm talking about. Because at the end of the day, they will look upon someone and not be empathetic with them because they might have been assassinated or something along those lines, and honestly celebrate the fact that they were killed, which is an insane idea, because at the end of the day, we wouldn't want to see people dying, because in theory, death is an evil thing if it is caused to someone. It is known that murder is on the evil side, but yet the celebration of said evil is somehow seen as a good, as if you are good. And I don't understand that personally. People will have this idea that they are 100% good, but yet celebrate these things as if that is a good thing. And that's where this hypocrisy all starts. And it's frustrating to me, because I think a lot of people don't realize that, yes, you can be good, but evil will still be within the heart and you will do evil things. And I think that people cannot cope with the idea that they are or can be evil. And I think that a lot of people really try to get away from that, because it's basically like saying that you might actually be a bad guy. And that idea is so hard for them to just even process, to the point where they'd rather just pretend that everything that they do is altruistic and good, and those things that aren't good can be explained away by the evil or others who are evil to damage them down or bring them down. But we know from all of human history, basically, that no matter how good a person is, there will always be some type of evil within them. And I think that no matter how hard you try, you cannot get around that. And people that are trying to get around it try to just make themselves almost Christ-like and absolve themselves of any wrongdoing that they may or may not possibly be having. And they will surround themselves in echo chambers or things like that to make sure that they are being reinforced with the same ideal over and over again, to make sure that they are all good, quote unquote, when in reality, they're just hearing the same messages repeated to them over and over again, without understanding that no matter how hard you want to keep repeating the same things over and over again, you will have evil within you. And it's more of seeing where that evil is and the extent of how far you would take that evil, because people don't want to do that. They are scared of it. And understandably so, people shouldn't act upon it, but knowing where the evil can go can mean you can control it in some weird shape or fashion. A lot of these people are afraid of that, or have been conditioned to fear evil, but no matter what they do, they seem their own as good. It's a very sick idea, and I personally dislike these types of people who do this. The thing that personally pisses me off about this is the fact that these people do truly think that they are all good, that they do nothing wrong in the world, that whatever they do is just altruistic and true. And I've talked about this before, but there's probably only been one person in human history that was all good, who happened to be betrayed by a person who is now residing in the middermost circle of hell. It's like, we have these stories to tell people, basically, that no matter how good you are, no matter what you are trying to do, you will still perform acts of evil. Even in all deities that we see, no matter across all of the religions, they still commit acts of evil, because they have to show that there is evil in everybody, maybe except for one, but even then, there are ideals where you have to show strength against evil as well. people misconstrue that showing of strength as some type of altruistic ideal, when in reality, when we do it, it's more of an advancement of your own evil upon others. And that's really the crux of it, really, is that they don't realize what they're doing is wrong. And I think that if they ever were to realize that they're wrong, it is as if a domino effect would happen and they would realize maybe other parts of myself is wrong and thus cause a domino effect, which they would never want to do, because then that means separating their whole life from the inside out and basically reprogramming how they view themselves within the world and within the greater context of the world. And some people are truly never ready for that, but they should be. But that's a whole other conversation for a whole other day.
And we're back. Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercises not filmed, none. Exercises skipped, also none. Got everything in. Anyways, back to the main subject matter for today. Good and Evil Part 4. Empathetic Hypocrisy. So the main reason why I wanted to discuss this is because of the recent, by the time this video comes out, it's going to be a couple months later, but the assassination of Charlie Kirk, because this was a eye-opening experience. I'm not one for politics. I don't necessarily care for it, but this is very telling for those who are celebrating his death, because I feel like a lot of people don't realize how much of a evil that is in their own mind, when realistically they do not know their own moral code to be celebrating the death of somebody else. I think that a lot of people do not realize the level of evil that they have surrounded themselves with, to the point now where they are celebrating the end of somebody else's life because they did not agree with what they said. Now, this is something that I think is just part and parcel with a lot of the stuff that is said in social media, the hyperbole that goes on these platforms, and all these other things like that, these echo chambers that end up becoming in the world because people get the same messaging over and over again and decide to exclude anything that they dislike out there, and I think that is a major issue. But besides that, it's interesting that these people do not realize that they are evil. They are so truly empathetic with someone that just got assassinated because they just don't agree with them. It's very interesting because these are the same people usually that want let's just say, free Palestine. Let's just say that. A lot of the people that are from Palestine would probably be more closer to Charlie Kirk when it comes to the political spectrum than they would be to you. So it's very interesting that for some reason you would have empathetic nature and empathetic side towards those people, whilst this man who just wants to talk to other people at a college was murdered. So it's very interesting. It's almost like as if the two ideas cannot coexist with each other. So thus they have to really just pretend that they're empathetic, that they're in the side of good. I don't understand it personally, because I know where my good is, because I've actually tried to deal with the spectrum of it. But these are the types of people that will not try to deal with it and will always ebb and flow, and no matter what they want to do, they'll be on what they consider is good. But it's hilarious because looking back at the people, let's say, of Palestine, they would be considered evil in their eyes because they're everything that is against their religion. Look at that. Isn't that funny? But it's just so astonishing to me that they cannot sit down and truly realize what they are doing. Everything with them is an ebb and flow. They are very much a hedonistic representation of what is current humanity. And those are the types of people that need to be ostracized from humanity. I don't care if you do or do not agree with the guy, but wanting or celebrating the death of the man is something that you should not do. There's something that is essentially good and evil. And if you're celebrating it, you're evil. There is no twisting it. The twist that you're going to say is that you're going to try to damn him. It doesn't matter. The act of murder makes it so it's evil, regardless of where you are at. You can want something bad for somebody else. Yes, you can want it. But the thing is, when you cross the line of whether or not you take a life, you are automatically in the realm of evil, even if you are doing it for any reasons that you think are just, even if it is on the side of what you would consider God. But even then, that's a whole other conversation, because these are the types of people who would laugh or spit in the face of somebody who would think about even trying to attempt something with God, because they do not believe in anything like that. So we will ignore that entire subject matter, because these are godless people who do not believe in that. So there is no point in even trying to argue that against these people, because they are retarded and evil. And I think that that's the main issue that I have with it. They want to be empathetic. They think they're empathetic, but realistically, they're just evil, and they don't want you to win. And that's the other thing that is really frustrating, is that they believe that they're good, but nothing will shut them more down than realizing, hey, maybe you're the bad guy all of a sudden. Maybe the people that are celebrating death are the people that aren't good. Is that us? Yes, it is. Well, look at that. You're not good. Why is that so? You're evil. How easy is that? And at least there are certain areas in the world that will just accept it. They don't give a fuck that they're evil. Fuck, it happens in sports. It happens in movies. It happens in all fictional things. People that become evil accept the evil. But for some reason, there's a weird, they cannot accept the fact that they're evil, so that they have to change and warp their mind to believe that they're only good. These are the types of people that have to be ostracized from society. You cannot unify yourself with these people. They do not understand anything of a regular person, because they have no moral code. They ebb and flow to a gray area, so they're always coming out on top, which means that they are useless. Useless as people and useless for society. They should be ostracized and shamed for what they do. They are evil, and that's it. There's as simple as that. Once you cross that line, you're considered evil. Now, if we look at the other side, what is considered good? I mean, shit, I don't know. That's a good question. Just maybe want to live your life and make sure that you spread a message of good. That's probably about it. That's all you really need to do. But hey, you might get killed for that nowadays. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. And with that being said, please let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. This one's probably going to be a decisive one, and I don't like getting political, but this is just kind of on the mind right now. Especially because I talk about good and evil all the time, and it is sickening to see these people think that they are on the side of good when they cross the line and refuse to realize that they're on the other side of the line. So it's disgusting, to say the least. And these people should be shamed and ostracized from society, because we cannot live with these types of people, because they do not understand good and evil. But anyway, tell me what you think in the comment section down below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions about this one. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video with anybody who may or may not like it. I will be back on tomorrow with a new video. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will see you in the next one. Keep it heavy. Stay safe out there. Stay cool out there. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace!